Probably the most reliable one. We need water still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those are, they're reliable.
Yeah. 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 Was there no information? No information. Yeah.
I don't think we need it tonight, but.
Yeah.
This is power.
Because, like, we were
It's green.
someone's been.
Just instead of. Turn it on.
But he's iron
It says update.
Yeah, I've been, he does a lot of small group. Yeah, so you can, you pop out there. Sarah was in Europe. Wow. You can, he's sitting there. I know he's sitting on the I know. I could be. He said it last month, then you guys were talking about doing the walk and dancing.
Yeah, we do.
With family, you know, like, right, sick kids or something. Right. But again, it's so nice.
It's got a part of them. You can pick.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
You ready? Okay.
Sorry.
Well, that's okay. Call this meeting to order at 7:04. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a reminder that the meeting is being recorded. Review and approval of minutes.
Can you make a motion? You could make it for both sets of minutes. Yes, can you make a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from the the May, meeting, both meetings, organizational and regular monthly meetings.
The reorganizational meeting, we need to change the date. If we could, please. Wrong date. Yeah.
2022.
What the heck? Oh, so change that to May 13th of 2025.
We probably had an organizational meeting in 2022.
A second.
I have a first from Roy and a second from Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Review and approval of claims.
What are we gonna use the bow for, the archery equipment? Is that PE?
Yeah, so we purchased them. We purchased, I did not know there was a difference, but we purchased all right-handed
Oh, there's a difference.
bows, and we had one or two left-handed students
In every class, so
in
like
every class. And so-
8 or 10 kids, and myself, the instructor's left-handed, so,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah,
So we needed to get.
We got one.
We got one
Yeah.
left-handed.
good enough.
Is that enough?
Yeah,
No, cover
yeah,
it.
because only like 4 to 5 shoot at a time,
Oh, okay.
because we only have 4 to 5 targets, so,
Good.
yeah.
Okay, great.
Not 45, 4 or 5.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's a great activity. A lot of kids enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Voided checks. None. Okay. All right, moving on to public comment. This is for anything not on tonight's agenda. John?
Did we remember to remind people that it was being recorded?
Yes.
Okay, we did. I did not hear that. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I did. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports.
Ms. Miller?
All right. Our numbers stayed the same for June, so all total 290 for the county schools and our elementary. The end of May was a flurry of activities as we had to do all the last stuff, last assemblies, field trips, awards assemblies, our fun run field day, which was very warm but successful. Kids had a good time there. They were worn out by the end of it. Kindergarten graduation and our last day on the 29th. And then teacher checkout on the 30th. Of course, the thing we're all looking forward to now is the start of school on the 27th. And then I just also wanted to give a shout out to Jennifer Mosley for receiving the Certified Employee of the Year award. She's done a great job mentoring and working with the kids and being a leader in our building.
Any questions for Ms. Miller? Not seeing any. Mr. Fisher is not able to join us this evening. You have a whole list of different activities that we finished over the last month of school. I would like to note that we did finish the school year with the same number of students that we started with, anticipating that to continue on for next year with the low grade departing. So we have our graduates with a lower number and a larger number coming into the elementary. So I anticipate us to continue to see growth within our schools. I think Mr. Fisher was happy with the end of the school year. Got all the kids through, got them finished up with the year, everything turned in, and on to our summer projects. Any questions on any of the items that he has listed? No? Okay, I'll move on to my schedule. I'm just got back from Class B MHSA meetings over in Glasgow half an hour ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And I am leaving tomorrow morning for a delegate assembly in Helena. And there's probably some other things that I have coming up over the month, but I'll make sure that I let you know when those things are coming up. Okay? Any questions on either of those two?
No, but I do have a question. What are we doing in front of the elementary building with the city? They've got it all.
Oh, that's been, for the last couple of years, that the water base isn't above it. So if you drove over it, water,
Well, it always boiled up.
like, water would literally like squirt out
Squirt
of it.
out of it.
And so they dug it down 6 foot and.
Put a bladder in.
Yeah, yeah. So
Cool.
that's been a.
So you're talking on that?
On that east
On
side.
that
East side.
Westwood.
Okay, yep.
They just started graveling today. I'm hoping to drive on it soon.
By August, you'll be fine.
They won't finish it.
Good optimism. Good to see.
I spoke with Eric at the city, and they're also planning on coming in and filling in that hole where we had the water leak, where the fire hydrant used to be. Right now it's dirt right there. They're going to dig that out and concrete that area as well.
Nice.
So that's all fixed at that hydrant? Where
The
they were
hydrant-
supposed to come back and do some more stuff.
So the hydrant is completely removed.
So
There's
there's no hydrant there.
correct.
So
So it's a
where-
direct water line in, so we're the only water
On that
coming from
hydrant.
that main.
And so.
I'm just adjusting your insurance rates real quick.
There is a fire hydrant across the street.
So we got.
It's not attached to the water coming into our facility.
It's on the main, which has more pressure, so you'll be fine, Travis? Okay.
Yeah.
We use the water that comes out of the road with buckets.
So they're gonna fix that,
Yes.
the city's
Yeah,
gonna.
I spoke with Eric. They are planning on fixing that this summer before school gets started,
Okay, good.
With pavement?
with pavement.
They did.
You can't assume.
Doesn't have to be new, it might be old.
Well, our town is built on a floodplain. I mean, water can squirt up wherever it wants, even in a drought.
All of that property around that high school, the reason that a lot of that was never developed was because the water table was too high. All of that was originally like where we built Westwood LLC and those apartments there. That's as close as you can fundamentally build anything, and that's on slab, a floating slab. Because you can't put foundations in.
Well, the high school has how many metric tons of dirt moved into this building?
And then it's pillared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and all of that was subdivided to all the way to the railroad tracks originally, and then they started, there was no way you could build it.
You own some of those pieces of land out there.
Yeah, they're pretty much worthless.
Super useful.
We can't even get grass to grow on them. Okay.
No other questions on those reports? We'll move on to our action items, and we have property and liability insurance renewal. Travis Clark, floor is yours.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Travis Clark with Levy Group Insurance. Pretty simple renewal. So I'm going to have you guys flip to page 16, and we'll just talk about some of the pricing and different things that we have going on right now. We had about a 5% increase. Last year's expiring premium was $63,354. This year it's been quoted at $66,861. The general liability, we took a little bit of a bump there. We've had 2 claims. One has been closed at $0. We're still battling. The carrier's working on another claim currently that's still open. So we did take a little bump there. The situation with liability and premiums right now is these liability court cases, we're seeing what we refer to as a nuclear verdict, and we're seeing high dollar amounts, and we're seeing more of them. There's companies that are investing in liability claims, and I sit on the Big I Legislative Committee, and that's something we're trying to do is take that out of there, because the claimant isn't getting any more. It's just if these attorneys from Chicago come in and purchase this claim and then try to, all they have to do is hit on 1 out of 10 and they're ahead. So just a kind of a unique situation going on in the world of insurance right now. So we're seeing a little rate there. We did have a couple claims that hit that line. Actually, one hit that line and one hit the line back. Is where it kind of came in. The commercial property. I can send my apps in to the carrier on April 1st. I was getting a little nervous. I contacted Mr. Crump in March, and I was just worried about how we were going to do with the large $500,000 loss that we had on the roof. And I was getting a little nervous. EMC is actually going to be subrogating against the contractor on that. So what we were able to do, they kind of gave me a little tally mark for the occurrence, but not the severity. So we have a frequency claim now, but we didn't get hit on the severity because they're hoping that they're going to be able to get that back, just because it was installed incorrectly. So really, where we ended up here is just a tiny little bit of a rate increase, and then the value of the buildings went up again. So this is something we've done, over the course of the last 6 renewals now, trying to make sure that our coverage levels are high enough on these buildings. And it's important you know, on these partial losses that were insured to value, you take the roof at $500,000. Let's say that, that building's worth $5 million, we insured it, let's say we insured it at $2.5 million. When there's a loss, like on a roof, they would pay half of that claim minus the deductible. So having that replacement cost is really key on those buildings. And so we've done that. EMC has done their due diligence on valuing the buildings. They feel like we're in a good shape, but we did do a 2% increase on that, just with inflationary. The auto, felt really good about that. We're actually up a little bit, but about $1,500, but we added an additional bus from last year, so we are up 1 bus. So felt good about that. We got a little bit on the inland marine. The crime, we saw a little bit of a decrease. The cyber, talking about cyber last night and definitely had some questions, so did a little diving into it. The carrier has changed forms. The insurance commissioner has asked them to change their form. When they did that, it broadened coverage, and their claims frequency across the country has been higher on cyber. And I got a little bit of an education. There's actually been a lot of cyber claims with school districts, and most of that is ransom type stuff, stealing information, saying, hey, pay me 50 grand, we'll release it back to you. And so it helps with that. Currently, we have the lowest amount of coverage at $100,000. That is, you know, we can buy up to $1 million of coverage on this cyber. So we're seeing more and more of those claims. Felt good with the umbrella. Umbrella has been crawling a little bit, but I felt good with that rate, didn't have any issues. And then a little bump in the linebacker, and we did have a claim on that. So all in all, I feel really good with just north of 5% increase. We're starting to see the market soften and starting to deliver some renewals that are flat, not increasing, but with the claims that we have going on, I feel really good about it. So, you know, and our property rate's really good. I mean, our total values right now on everything, the business personal property, all the buildings, the grandstands, the concession stands, right? We're at $44 million of property, so I feel really good. Any questions on any of that? Anything you want me to dive into? Like I said, I feel pretty good about the renewal, so I'm gonna take a bunch of your time and dive into some things, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Couple little things for the
Yeah.
newbie. Linebacker is like for administrative errors.
Linebacker is the most important coverage to you. So in any other business, we look at that as like your directors and officers, right? You make a decision that the courts deem is not prudent, you could be sued as the district, you could be sued individually, it provides you coverage.
So you're good with your amount of close to 20 million to rebuild that high school?
Yeah, I will say it's builder's grade, you know, and schools are, it's not,
All I know is we haven't built a high school in Montana for less than 45 million in the last 5 years.
yeah,
So,
they were good with it when they paid the claim.
that's good.
I mean, right, that's, you know, it's those partial losses that really get you. I mean, we can, you know, we have different.
When we have eventually, if you had a catastrophic
Yeah.
loss, that, I mean, a partial loss, you can always argue the
the valuation, and we're gonna come to some agreement with a catastrophic loss. I just question whether we can rebuild that high school for $20 million. Maybe so.
You know,
We can't
have-
already put a roof on it for less than $500,000, so that's my point.
Yeah.
So,
We have resources available, and we can even see if EMC would, you know, have somebody come out. They did an internal, but we could see if they would bring somebody on site. You know, it's a lot different than, you know, big office building or a medical facility, you know, as far as the type of flooring and fixtures and, right, it's more of a builder's grade, you know, but I'm happy to have more conversations.
so telling you,
Whoa. I can sit down, I can talk with Travis about it, and I can get some more
More
information from the
information,
board.
I think
I'm
we should
not-
take a look at that. I mean, and you can do some research as to
Yeah,
what
I can see what's
that
on
new
the
high
next
school
school.
cost in Helena, what the new high school cost in Bozeman.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, they're much larger facilities, whatever, but if that premium is about the same or close to the same, and we can bump that to make sure that we are okay,
Yep.
I think that's a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
that the school district should.
Well, we've done good, because 5 years ago,
Yes.
we were half of that.
I know. No, I mean, because we've
Yeah.
not been pushing
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
sure that we
Sure.
get there. I mean, that,
For sure.
yeah, that's important. I mean, because you don't want to have a catastrophic loss.
We'll have, I think we meet next week.
Yeah,
so
so next week.
we'll, yeah, great.
I mean, and if the numbers are true, and you can do it for that, totally cool. I mean, but I think we should,
Yep.
we don't want to have a conversation afterwards.
Yep.
We stay away.
That's what I always tell my people, have the tough conversations about premium, not about the loss. So, all right, any other questions?
What's the aggregate on that liability?
1 million, 2 million, then we got the 2 million umbrella. So,
Per occurrence, or
1 million per occurrence, 2 million aggregate. The umbrella is over one or both, right, depending on the situation. The nice thing that we do have in our favor is statute, being a public entity, you know, that we have some protection there. They have a limit of 750, 1.5. If it's, you know, a tort claim, that's when we would exhaust those limits. But there is another layer of coverage there as well. So most of our carriers will only go to 5 on the umbrella now. I have to go to London or some surplus markets to find another excess of 5. It's getting a little pricey, but we can show you some options there. I think we did that a few years ago.
we've gone through it.
Yeah. So,
I don't think it needs to be any further than we did before.
okay. Well, I'll see if they'll go to 5 on the umbrella. That would be over the auto and if they and give you a price.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah, we can endorse it.
You
at
may, I
any
mean,
time.
if it's another $500,
Yeah,
or whatever, you may want to consider.
yeah, it'll probably be another 6,000.
That'll make Elliot squirms.
Yeah, but we'll do both of those things. And I'll get it to Elliot, he can email it to you guys, and we can chat about it whenever. So, good questions, anything else? All right, well, we appreciate the business and look forward to all of the bills that have been submitted on the roof have been paid. We have a little bit more work to be done, and they've been great about paying that. They like to be the hero because they're just gonna go try to get their money from the contractor anyway, so it works in our favor, but, and then we're monitoring this subrogation because next year, you know, to be honest, if that is still on there and we haven't had enough movement, that that's gonna hit our loss runs as far as severity and it'll drag rate a little bit. This year we're able to talk about. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would recommend approving the new premium at $66,861.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
This what you need signed from me?
Nope.
You're good. We're good? Okay. All right, moving on. Resignation, retirement, we do not have any. We will go on to hiring. First recommendation is for paraprofessional. I recommend hiring Angel Hansen at $15.25 an hour.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Jay. Any discussion?
She'll be in the elementary or in the, are you gonna?
So,
go back?
this is no, she won't be. So, we're bringing Angel on to help out in the administrative office here. She's going to be working in the payroll office. She'll be working with Millette. We're going to work with her throughout the summer and then determine where we're at the end of this summer to determine how we move forward, if that's going to be a role that fits with her well. And if not, then she can roll back into her role as a paraprofessional for the district.
With an emphasis on payroll clerking, or?
That's going to be our emphasis as far as our training and our work this summer.
Does she have any training in regards to accounting?
She was doing a little bit of that in her previous employment, but not to the level of.
Does she have computer skills?
I can't answer that. Enough to do the things that we need her to do as a paraprofessional.
And the probationary period kind of the summer, like until school starts?
Yeah, so essentially we've got her hired as a paraprofessional, going to do some training this summer, hopefully get to the point where we feel like she's going to be able to do that job, roll her into that position with the appropriate pay to that, and I'll come back to the board with that recommendation at that time. If it doesn't feel like it's going to work out, moving her back into that paraprofessional role that she was in for the district, and going back out and seeing if we can get any other applicants for the position.
So, with my busy schedule, I can't really sit there and train her. So, I don't know what we can do.
We have training resources that are available to you guys, and I don't know where this is going, but we might have some things that, some tutorials and different things that are available, so we can hit on that next week too.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, I do have a first from Jared and a second from Jay. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, recommend hiring elementary teacher Tammy Barnhill at step 24, MA plus 10, at $69,695. The reason why we're doing this one so late is because Tammy is a working retiree, which means we need to go through a specific process to get approval from TRS. We finally got that approval a week and a half ago.
I moved to hire Mrs. Barnhill.
I have a first from Jay and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend hiring custodian Matthew McNall at $16.20 an hour. That is for probationary time. You have some other dollar amounts listed here as things change based on the contract and the ending of probationary time.
Primarily which building?
Elementary building. But custodians are hired by the entire board.
Okay.
So moved as long as we change the comma to a period.
Ah, yeah, good point.
Put a zero behind that, that's a very dangerous number.
Chad's not being generous.
Yeah.
We put a comma in mine.
I have a motion by Chad and a second by Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, going to move on. I'm going to do all of the high school coaches together, if that is okay, unless the board sees anything that they would like me to do all of these individually. Not seeing any, I'm going to do them all together. Recommend hiring high school assistant volleyball coaches, Grace Medill and Grace Asora, $3,600. High school assistant football coaches, Mark Blevins, Mark Clark, Brock Stores at $3,600. High school assistant girls basketball coaches, Zach Hayes and Kara Olszewski at $3,600. High school assistant boys basketball coaches, Doug Richmond and Tyler White at $3,600.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Roy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I also recommend hiring high school volunteer boys basketball coach, Robbie Miller.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Roy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Well, the next group are junior high coaches, and so these would not apply. Moving on to our junior high coaches, can I recommend all of them together? Recommend hiring junior high head football coach Mike White at $2,805. Junior high head volleyball coach Lisa Clark at $2,805. Junior high head boys basketball coach Tyler White at $2,805. Junior high assistant boys basketball coaches Robbie Miller and Jared Anderson at $2,400.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I have some summer help. Got summer janitorial support, Mary Jane Hanito at $15 an hour. I recommend hiring her.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend hiring for the summer in the cafeteria, summer cafeteria support, Janico again at $14 an hour.
So,
Second.
I have a first from Roy and a second from Jared. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend hiring summer tech help, Suzanne Howe and Heather Landis at $14 an hour.
So moved.
second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Roy. Any discussion? Seeing Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And we needed 2 summer school teachers this year. Recommend hiring Riley Quick and Arlen Palmer at $25 an hour.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Jay. Any discussion?
How many hours are they getting week?
I need to talk with Mr. Fisher. He has that set up. They're working in the morning. I don't know how long they're going to go. It all depends on how long it takes the students to finish what they need to get done so that they can pass those classes. Okay. Nope, we don't know today, but I can get you that information.
I can tell you they had me unlock the doors from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, 4 days a week.
Are these kids that didn't pass?
Yeah, so the process that we have is if a student earns anywhere between a 50 and a 60% in a class, they can go to summer school and bring that grade up to a passing level.
This is all grades?
This is 9-12.
We didn't have that option when I was still.
Would you have
You
known
got
about
it?
it?
Dr. Weiss, sorry. Dr. Weiss, sorry.
Yeah. They didn't have that in county either, Jerry.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to offer of employment for the 2025-2026 school year. I would like to do each group together, but I can also do them all individually if the board would like. Not seeing anybody opposed, I'm going to do them together. I will leave Shannon off of this first one, and I will do hers separately at the end of that. So, first recommendation, offer of employment for the 2025-2026 school year. Paraprofessionals, I recommend, excuse me, Isaac Applemeyer, Carissa Blair, Sandra Blosser, Chris Gore, Don Grove, Heather Landis, Valerie Puentes, Valerie Stratton, Christy Vandeboss, Lina Vandekop, Dawn Wagner, Karen Watson, Tyler White, and Jeannie Woodall.
I moved Paris.
Second.
I have a first from Roy and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend hiring Shannon Scarborough as a paraprofessional for the 2025-2026 school year.
I moved Paris, Shannon.
Second.
I have a first from Roy and a second from Jared.
I'll abstain.
Chad is abstaining. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend hiring cafeteria staff, Christy McAllister, Maggie Cooper, and Jessica Olson.
I so moved. Second.
I have a first from Jay and a second from Jared. Any discussion?
So those are the 3 cafeteria staff?
We need 2 more. I have applicants for those positions. I hope to run those interviews later in the summer.
Okay. I think we're gonna be quite busy.
Yeah, we need 2.
You're not gonna feed 600 kids with 3 people.
Yes, that is
Okay,
correct.
good.
We need additional support in the cafeteria. We advertise for it. We have applicants for it. I've communicated with both applicants.
Thank you.
Is one of them the foreman or the manager or the head cheese or?
Yes, so Christy is the head cook.
Does the ordering and?
She does the ordering, she does a lot of the paperwork.
Right.
She's actually on a little bit of a different pay scale as well.
Any more discussion?
I think head cheese is a different thing.
More like head cook.
Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend hiring school secretaries Dallas Sterling and Alyssa Edwards.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Recommend hiring custodians Guy Knickerbocker, Scott Levesque, Dustin McNall, Marvin Oxteen, and David Wagner.
I move to hire the custodians.
Second.
I have a first from Roy and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Recommend hiring bus drivers Jeannie Redan, Kevin Dodson, and Clark Bancroft.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Jay. Any discussion?
Does that give us enough bus drivers to do our in?
Yep. Yep, 3 drivers, and then,
And then, okay.
yeah, and Kyle has done a good job of going out and recruiting, and we have a healthy stable of subs right now. So I do not recall if we've ever had to combine a route this year.
I
Did we have to
think
do it one time?
earlier in the year he did.
Maybe one time, but we did not need to combine a route.
And Kyle steps in.
So he may have even drove it or something. Yeah, so it's been good.
And we're good on our transportation for sports and all of that, that seems to be enough.
Well, I mean, the bus goes down a fair amount, but, yeah, we've got enough drivers.
We got 3 rural routes.
Yeah, 3 rural routes. The transportation meeting, if anybody wants to attend that with me, you'd be welcome to do so. That is June 24th. We meet up at the courthouse there. We'll go through that process if you want to see that. You're welcome to join.
Yeah, so the bulk of the kids are really where we pick them up in town, sure, to get them here.
Would you send a reminder to those that are on the transportation committee?
About that
Yeah.
meeting? Okay, yep.
Do you generally have the committee go or just the director?
No, normally it's Kyle and I've never had anybody from the transportation committee go, but you guys are welcome to if you want to see what the process looks like.
I've been to them where it's.
Yeah, I
full
think I've
room.
seen you there advocating for the glider routes.
Yeah,
right?
it's a pretty full room. I don't think you need any help. They don't have enough chairs.
Standing room only.
Yeah, right. It's the place to be on a Tuesday in June.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, I recommend hiring business manager Vlad Flynn.
I so move.
I have a first from Jay and a second from Jared. Any discussion?
How many years, Millette?
So I've been in the district for 2015 as a
Business manager.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We should ask hours instead of years.
I don't want to.
Lifetimes.
All those in favor of motion by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend hiring technology director John Howe.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I recommend hiring transportation director Kyle Fix.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Roy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to administrative salaries. Do you have copies of the five contracts that I'm going to be recommending here? If you do go to John's, number 4 is highlighted in your packet. I wasn't sure what it meant. I sent it to John. He said that Tom Rogers put it in there, and I didn't want to change it, so I left it in there. I don't. It just reads, "It is understood that the coordinator holds a valid certificate or will have met the requirements as provided by law." So I asked John what certificate that was, and he didn't know, so.
Well, actually,
It was just one of those odd questions.
It's like, are you certified or have the equivalent experience? And that's how Tom treated it.
And so I didn't change it, so I left it in there. Again, I don't. So I'm going to assume that John is certified.
Certified.
You appear to have the equivalent experience.
So anyhow, that's why that is highlighted. So if you go through and you're looking at the contracts, you see that's the reason. I do recommend a 3% increase for the following contracts: Kyle Fisher, Tony Miller, Lynette Flynn, John Howe, and Kyle Hicks.
Second.
I have a first from Jared and a second from Roy. Any discussion?
So John, do you mind even just removing that?
Don't care about it.
Happy to, I'll remove, this will be the draft, and I will remove it from the contract that I sent
Yeah, I
you.
see, I mean, there's no reason if it's not.
I don't know what it means.
No, it makes no sense.
I know my.
I was concerned when I read it, I was like, gosh,
Like
all
I shared
teachers are
with
sending
Mr.
in
Crum, my
emails.
original contract actually caused a hit with the auditors because I was hired under a teacher certificate or certified contract.
Oh,
And that's,
yeah.
you were on a salary schedule originally for the teachers?
that lasted until Tom left and they did the first audit after he left.
Oh.
And that's when all of a sudden I was in vacation and like classified and like, okay.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Classified wage increase, I recommend a 50-cent increase for all classified wages.
So moved.
A first from Roy and a second from Jared, and Chad is abstaining. Any discussion?
It's 50 cents, I don't see it here, excuse me.
What are you looking for?
The-
I just have it.
The item that we're on, classified wage increase, number F.
There, it's not in there.
It's not in here.
Not in there.
Okay.
It's just right here.
Right here, under
Yeah.
F.
Yeah.
It's on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on.
It's on the agenda, but it's not listed in a package, it is over here.
Okay, got it.
Little tough calls.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Okay.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to policy second reading. I recommend, you have this in your packet as well. I recommend approving upon second reading board policy 3122P1 attendance policy, attendance procedures, and board policy 3416 administering medicines to students.
I have a motion by Chad. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
So this administrating of medicine to students information here, is it different than what we had previously? Because we've had multiple discussions of this.
Yeah, this is the latest.
This is the latest. So what did it change
So,
from?
I should have printed it in color.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at it, you can see that it's a little bit lighter under administering medicine. That's actually all in green.
Like this, Jane. So it crosses out physician, doctor, kind of official words like that, and changes them all to healthcare provider. That's kind of the operative changes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and so anything that is bold is new language, anything that is crossed out is language we'll remove.
Are these OPI required policies? I'm familiar with them having an R at the top of them, but
Yeah, some of them are required, some of them have been added because we wanted them. All I can tell you is this one was adopted originally in 2005. We revised it in 2001, and we're revising it again now.
what's glucagon? Is that a diabetic medicine? There's quite a bit of verbiage just about that topic. Yeah.
Someone else will watch it.
Oh, okay. The further you can get from the liability of being involved in administering medicines, the better off you'd be.
I think the school-based clinic has helped out a lot with that.
I mean, that was one of the purposes of the goals, was to eliminate this, so,
And that's why this language is changing to healthcare provider, because it's the clinic that's providing a lot of these medications, not a physician.
Is that catching all the kids though, or just the ones that are signed up to pay for it?
In the high school, all of our medication is distributed through the clinic.
Yeah.
In the elementary school, the vast majority, I believe there
No,
are,
it's all now.
all of them are
Yeah,
now?
all the prescription daily medication is administered by the clinic.
That is an accomplishment, and thank you.
Yeah.
Because I've been on you. So I appreciate that very much, so thank you. I mean, because
Figured it out.
that's great. I mean, because we have been in some thin ice, that as far as what I felt over the years, so we've come a long ways.
So to revise it to have the operative language be healthcare provider kind of complements the progress that's already been made in the last few years, is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And the clinic went through this policy.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're happy.
Yeah. They had some recommendations on it.
Elliot, if you could get a new certificate of insurance from Rise Healthcare, so that we have that on file as well. Because nobody wants to
Transfer
pay,
that
we just want to point
liability.
fingers.
Transfer that liability. It's less than it was, Travis.
Okay.
By a long
Will do.
ways.
So are we doing both these policies? Can we talk about the attendance? So, excuse me, just to clarify a couple of points on excessive absences then. And maybe I didn't read it thoroughly enough, I'm sorry if I did. But 10 days and you're out? Are you disenrolled after 10 days?
Yeah, it's state law.
10 in a row, or 10?
Yes, 10 in a row.
Okay, not 10 cumulatively,
Correct.
okay.
But those are unexcused.
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 Correct,
You-
unexcused.
They're unexcused. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So if you're sick, that doesn't count as one of your 10 days.
Okay.
Soon to be sick, right?
It all worked out. That was all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Attendance and transportation agreements.
They were all elementary this time.
Make the motion to approve the transportation agreement.
Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Jay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Moving on to discussion items. Board walkthrough, I'm gonna still be working on getting that scheduled for September. We talked a little bit about the training. I know Angela,
I'm waiting to hear back.
Angela's still working on that a little
Yep.
bit, so we'll let you know if we move forward with that. Hiring update, open positions. Did post, we have an English position open as well as a cheer coach position, but we are fully staffed. Our thought process here is if we had an English applicant, we would go through the interviewing process. I did receive an applicant today. I don't know that the person is certified, so I'm not looking to just hire somebody to hire somebody. We're looking for somebody that maybe has some experience teaching English to help our newer English teachers that are in that department right now. So we've got 2 early on English teachers at the high school, and then Ms. Howell in the junior high for our English teachers. So that's getting posted, we're just looking for some additional experience. So if we get that, then we'll go through the interviewing process. As far as cheer coach, that just opened up for us, so we'll see what kind of applicants we get. We'll go through that interviewing process in the athletics department to get somebody hired for that particular role. We also have cafeteria, which we already talked about. I do have the applicants for that. I would probably post the position again later on this summer. Don't want to go through the interviewing process right now because the hiring wouldn't actually occur until late August. So I want to get closer to the date to do that. And then we'll also have paraprofessional openings once we get towards the beginning of the school year. And so we'll post those in late July, early August, and then figure out what our needs are in both the elementary and the high school building. Any questions on our hiring update and open positions?
Feel pretty good about Ms. Franco and the visa deal and all that?
You know, Cordell Hull feels pretty good about it, so I'm going to trust their judgment. If they feel good about it, I'm going to be more optimistic.
You
I
remain
think-
in contact with her, so she doesn't.
Yep,
nervous?
I've been in regular contact with her, excited to get her here. I think she'll be great for our kids. Just a matter of being able to actually get her here. So Downing's office did respond to me, our 2 senators did not.
I wrote to all 3 also, and I got a phone call from Downing's office the next day.
Oh.
And one of the other ones responded to a letter I wrote on a different subject about 6 months ago. So apparently that's how long that takes.
Okay, so I might hear from him in 6 months. Okay, well, good to know. Okay, any other questions on hiring and open positions? Not seeing anything, moving on to correspondence. You have the May 2025 at a glance from Rise Healthcare. There's our usage throughout the year, August through May. Any questions or anything you'd like me to take back to Rise Healthcare? Seeing anything? I do not have any other correspondence.
All right, our next board meeting is July 8th at 7 p.m. Meeting is adjourned at 8:02.
Is correspondence where I can say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I didn't know the rules. So,
You got insurance for that.
okay.
The meeting's adjourned, you can say that.
Yeah, this is off the record. So a handful of us did go down to the golf course for the staff appreciation deal, and it seemed to be well attended by staff. And it was, I just wanted to mention my appreciation for Mr. Crump having some programming there to recognize different staff members, and we've got a few kind of long-termers, especially the pairs that have served quite a few years. You know, it's a nice little event. So,
I think that we've been doing that for maybe almost 10 years now. We didn't do it my first year. I don't think we did it my second year, but it's probably 9 years.
One other question on that note, in recognition of longevity, is it a thing to get kind of a recognition plaque for Mr. Ackelstead or other long-term retirees from the board?
So what we have done in the past for board members, depending on the number of years that they've served, we get a card and then we get a gift for them and present that to them at that last board meeting.
Okay, so
But
that,
it hasn't been a plaque in the past.
just curious. I was in somebody's home the other day that served many years ago, and they had a 16-year plaque on the wall, so I just wondered, since he served 16, if we did that or not. I don't have an opinion.
Can we get the picture it says on it?
Well, I just wouldn't be out here long enough for a bench.
No, I'm leaving before the plaque comes up again.
Any other correspondence? Okay, meeting's adjourned. Again.
Thanks for the insight, Mr. Howell.
Sorry.
You're welcome. You want to go 8:04 now?
Yep.